You know, and then I realized, of course I'm not mad at her. I'm mad at me.
What for?
For the fact that my entire life has been one ridiculous mistake after another.
If you want to feel better about yourself, consider Hannah Horvath, the central character in HBO's comedy drama series, Girls.
She was in all my writing classes. I used to complain about what an awful writer and human she was.
Hannah is an aspiring writer on her own in New York City.
Why don't you smile? Does your heart hurt?
She's too self-absorbed to be worldly, too awkward to be popular, too, well, dumpy to skate by on looks alone.
Is it true that you have Hannah's clothes tailored to be less flattering?
Yeah, I mean, we will do a thing sometimes where we'll like all fit clothes with Spanx so that they're kind of like fit right, and then I'll remove the Spanx so they're kind of like rumpled up.
So you want her to look a little awkward?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's a big part of who she is.
Background, action.
Pity poor Hannah Horvath. But if you want to feel bad about yourself,
Lena, to your right.
look at Lena Dunham. At 26, she's the head writer, executive producer, and as of last month, the Golden Globe-winning star of what might be the most talked-about TV show in recent memory. If Seinfeld gave us a show about nothing, Girls is a show about everything. Hannah and her pals, played by Allison Williams, Zasha Mamet, and Jemima Kirk, are 20-somethings trying to make it in New York City.
What do you really want to do? What's your dream?
Just yell it out.
What are you feeling? What's inside of you? Just tell me. Don't
I
think.
want to sing.
What's the second thing you want to do?
The characters live, love, and love far too graphically for us to show here.
You know that at times the show can be kind of vulgar. Do you think it has to be?
Yeah, probably does. The obvious example would be a sex scene. If we're really going to show what an everyday sex scene looks like between two people who only sort of know what they're doing, it's going to be not that sexy.
I've never had sex, okay?
Really?
Seriously.
Okay.
It's like everyone and their mother has had sex except for me.
That's kind of what makes our show so unique and then also a little bit alienating because people aren't expecting that. And it's definitely a challenge. It's saying, okay, we're putting this out here for you. We want you to know these characters this well. Can you play ball?
20-something angst is a fertile topic for Dunham, a New York native who says she's been writing plays since she was 7. She got noticed in a big way with 2010's Tiny Furniture, her film about a recent college grad stumbling into adult life.
I just got off a plane for Ohio. I'm in a postgraduate delirium.
The HBO Girls deal followed soon after. Now, Girls is a phenomenon, and bashing the show has become a sport in itself. A frequent dig is that the cast got their jobs because of their famous parents. Jemima Kirk's dad is Bad Company drummer Simon Kirk. Zasha Mamet's dad is prize-winning playwright David Mamet. Allison Williams' father is NBC anchor Brian Williams. Dunham, the daughter of noted artist Carol Dunham and photographer Laurie Simmons, says it's the mother of all misperceptions.
The whole kids of famous people dialogue, that is one that I really can attribute to jealousy. Because why else would anyone say that? Why else would you be so horrified by the children of creative people continuing on to do creative endeavors unless you felt like there was something you were owed that you weren't getting, that they were getting? And also, my parents are famous in the tiniest corner of the world, which is the art world.
So it didn't exactly help you
no,
with your entree into the film business.
It was not the thing that brought me to the attention of HBO.
Now it's her show getting the attention, and all that the famous parents can do is sit back and watch.
Do you guys feel like you have to warn your family that certain scenes are coming? Those uncomfortable ones?
I've found a heads up is nice. It's a nice gesture. Don't you?
Yeah. But also, like, sometimes it's, you know, I think none of our families are particularly squeamish humans. And sometimes it's more awkward to call and be like, hey, just so you know, I'm going to be naked on next Sunday.
And if the sex scenes are graphic, so too, in a way, are the interactions with parents. It's tough to say which are harder to watch.
You graduated from college 2 years ago. We've been supporting you for 2 years, and that's enough.
May I get you more of anything?
No, she's fine.
Dunham gets a lot of her ideas from her own life. She's heard the no more money speech before, and like her character, she's shown signs of obsessive-compulsive disorder, or OCD.
Is this something for you that went away when you were younger, or did it reappear like it does with Hannah?
It's sort of like OCD kind of, wears a groove in your brain. And so when you're anxious or when you're stressed, you sort of return to those old thought patterns. So although it doesn't cripple my life and make it impossible for me to be functional, I definitely still, in times of stress, return to certain ways of thinking. And I think that'll always be sort of a struggle for me.
Scene 2, take 4.
It may come as a surprise then that directing her show, which she does frequently, actually makes Dunham less nervous.
And cut.
So this is your comfort zone.
Completely.
Out there in the real world, not so much?
Completely. I mean, there's places in the real world where I feel comfortable. My bed, in my parents' house, with my therapist. I don't know, but I would say that I have more anxiety attendant to like the facets of everyday life than I do to this job, which I feel so lucky to have and which gives me so much pleasure all day long.
Yeah, I think we just fumbled our lines a little bit.
Completely, and it was totally fine. But
with a pilot for another HBO show in the works and a reported $3.7 million book deal, it's hard to say where Dunham will turn next.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm curious, you're 26, and I'm wondering, when you enter a room of people who are older and perhaps not as successful as you are, whether you feel envy from them.
It's sort of a hard question to answer without sounding like a total jerk.
Jerk, yes, I know, I set you up for that one, you're right.
You set me up to sound like a jerk, but I still like you. But I do think it's complicated when you're young and you're female and you're in a position of power, because there's a lot of people who somehow question your right to be there. And I've just sort of had to accept that that is still the world we're living in. And as hard as our moms worked, that's not gone. And so I just try to surround myself with people who I learn from and who are kind to me, and I try to be kind to them back, and then we just do our thing.
And then she's like,
save your strength. We're in it for the long haul.
And their thing has been picked up for a third season, a show about everything. Maybe just not for everyone.